What's up, everybody? It's here, me, Catchycactus. Not in the green, actually, today. I'm, sporting some black shirt and my apron, as you may have seen in the past, if you watched me cook before. Going to be making pesto, or roasted yam and onion pesto, which I think is pretty freaking delicious. Hopefully you will too. And one sec, I'm just setting up the window here so I can kind of see everything, because I'm not using my usual setup. Obviously I'm in the kitchen, not really where I usually stream, as you can maybe have guessed. But yeah, so we're going to be jumping in, and my hair's still a little wet. I showered just a little bit ago, so hopefully I still look fabulous. If not, that's understandable. Hopefully, maybe. But yeah, so I have the roasted yam and onion in the oven right now. You can't really see it. It's almost close to done. I'm going to be taking that out momentarily right now, and I have the dough made already. This is the dough I made. It's no yeast dough. It's simple. I like simple. That's kind of the trademark of my cooking is simple. This is like 2.5 cups flour. I think a teaspoon and a half baking soda, a tablespoon of oil, and then 3/4 cup of water. That's it. Simple. Mash it all up and you get a dough. I let this sit in the fridge for about 2 hours. Now it's good to go. I'll be doing this quickly, or shortly, but first making pesto, which I will show you how I'm making it. I actually have this beautiful little basil plant here. I'm going to be taking off some cloves, or not cloves, some leaves from it, and going to be mincing them up into a fine powder. And okay, now it's falling over. Sorry, pretty plant. I don't mean to be killing you. It's just kind of what happened. And yeah, I don't have a food processor. I don't have a mortar and pestle, so this is going to get a little tricky. Yeah, they're nice cabinets. One of them's actually open. I'm going to close that cabinet. And this cabinet. No looking in my cabinet. There's secret things in there. But yeah, since I don't have a food processor and don't have a mortar and pestle, this is going to be a little tricky. We're still going to make it happen. So I'm going to take about 5 or 6 of the bigger leaves on here. I like to take the big leaves because they're kind of fully developed. They're not going to grow anymore. Taking the little ones kind of stunts their growth, but I guess just prevents them from getting big because we've eaten them already. So I may go for more. I'm gonna mince it up and see how I feel. I kind of only made this once before, so I'm gonna kind of wing it in a certain sense, especially since when I made it before, I had a mortar and pestle, and it made it a lot easier to make the basil. But here, I'll show you kind of what I'm doing down here. This is just fairly simple. We're taking these, and let me just make sure it's the audio. I don't know. My name's Justin Fan. It's been happening recently. I don't know what's going on with that. My name's Catchycactus. Yeah, I remember it. And I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to Twitch itself, not the Twitch community who may or may not be watching right now. But yeah, I'm just wondering if you can hear me. All right. Voice working. Is the music overpowering? Because I wanted some nice classical, some nice classical music to soothe you as I cook. So how's the audio? Is it good? Audio good? If you can't hear me, then I'll probably have to type it since you can't hear me. Unless you're really good at reading lips, which that would be awesome. It'd be like I couldn't even read that, and I was saying it, so... Okay, I will turn down the music a little bit. And hopefully that's better. Okay, so now I need to get back in. And now I'm going to show you the basil chopping, mincing. Still have some yam on this. I'm going to chuck that over there. And so, can you see alright? Yeah, it seems like it's okay. I'll bring it a little closer here. Okay. So what I'm going to basically doing is I stack them on top of each other, as you can see. And I'm just going to be holding them and just doing a nice pivot cut. Really kind of quick motion. Just and as you can see, they're kind of in these long strands now. So I'm actually just going to turn the cutting board here and do it the exact opposite way. I'm going to try not to cut myself, as that would be kind of embarrassing. Now we have this kind of nice pile, and I have to get low here so you can see my face. We have this nice pile here. This looks ridiculous. I'm liking this angle, actually. I kind of feel like bouncing around, actually. But yeah, I'm liking, I don't know what I'm saying. This is the pile, and so we've got a nice pile here, but it's not quite where we want it. So we're going to do kind of a nice cross pivot cut, and yeah, you can't really, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm going to do a cross pivot cut here, which should kind of make this even finer. It's already pretty fine, but we're going to get finer. And I think I'm going to need definitely a couple more leaves, so I'm going to get those on first. I'm going to grab, I think, 4 more medium-sized leaves, because I ran out of big ones. And that's kind of why I didn't use more, because I ran out of big ones. So I'm going to throw on 5 more medium ones. And this is a big harvest for our basil plant. We've had it, we haven't really done much with it, so it should be happy that we're kind of getting rid of some of its bigger leaves. Alright, now they're all kind of the same measurement. So we're going to kind of scrape them together into a pile, do a bigger pile, and then kind of just try to mince them extremely into small pieces. Into extremely small pieces, I should say. And as you can see, it's getting much thinner. So now I made this kind of line of basil, which kind of makes me just want to snort it. Okay, I'm not going to do that though. We're going to just kind of get into this nice, mushy little mixture here. And this is pretty minced. There's a couple of pieces that are a little bigger, which isn't a big deal, but we're going to try to kind of even those out. And unfortunately right now I can't read the chat as my screen is tilted in a very weird angle. I will shortly check it out, see what you are saying, and hopefully can respond to some of those brilliant comments. And this is about where we want it. I'm just going to do a couple big cleaves into here. And yeah, so that's pretty much what we want. And now you get to see my beautiful face again. Pesto's not spicy. It's very like savory kind of thing. And basil's kind of like it's almost like I don't know how to say it. It's not minty, but it's kind of something similar. Like, it's a very kind of sharp, but yet mild taste. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's definitely not spicy. So I'll tell you that much right now. I'm gonna get a bowl ready. And I'm gonna be using this because it's a plastic bowl, and because I'm gonna be going to kind of town on this. I'm gonna be pounding this, mashing it pretty hard. So I don't want to harm like a normal ceramic bowl. So I'm gonna be taking this, and I'll move it back down. You're gonna lose my face again. As you can see, it's on my knife. Just gonna be pouring this into here. And so this isn't the cleanest thing in the world. I'm gonna try to clean this off just a tad. And I need to take out. Yeah. Okay. I need to take out the roasted. And so you'll see that. I'll take that out right now. I'm going to show you the roasted yams and onions. I'm going to turn this so you can see them. That's what that looks like. I know you can't really see it too well. That's some chopped up yams with some sweet onions, which have all kind of burned a little too much. They're not burned, but they just kind of melted almost. Which is because I didn't cut the yams fine enough, which was a mistake. I should have done that a little more, but that's okay. I had to cook it a little longer than I wanted, which kind of burned the onion to some degree. It'll still be good though. Don't worry. It'll still be a lot of flavor. So we don't have to worry about that right now. That's good. That's fine. And I'm going to leave the oven going because shortly I'm going to be turning it on again for the calzones themselves. So now you can see we have our minced up basil in this little bowl, and now we put in some oil and some garlic. So I've got a little bag of garlic here. I'm not sure how good these are. See the other garlic. Those were kind of old. We're gonna check these out. See how I feel about them. If I don't like these, I'll just use garlic powder, which isn't ideal, especially for pesto. You kind of want fresh garlic. Actually, I think this might be good. We're gonna experiment with it, crack it open, and see. Oh, and that's actually a technique I should show you. If you're, new to garlic, you get in a clove, looks like this, and so you need to get this open. It's got the skin on it. So what you can do is just put it flat on there, and take the flat of your knife, and just put your palm on it, just crack it, and then you see it kind of squishes it. It makes it real easy to take off the skin of the garlic. And then you get this left over, which is just the garlic itself, which then you'll chop up. So this garlic's fine. It's good. So we're going to be using this. We're going to take about 2 cloves, 2 average sized cloves, and then we're going to crush this one as well. Okay. And then pop it open. This one's being a little difficult. I think this one's a little older. So I'm going to check this one out, make sure. Yeah, I think it's good. I think these are good. And so, this has a little growth on the top, because that's what garlic does. It keeps growing. So I'm going to chop off the tops of these just to be safe. They do this little growth, which is kind of weird. And so, now, I'm going to mince this up as well into about as fine as the basil was. And this is kind of rocking around. It's not the ideal cutting board to do something like this on, but I also don't want to get the chopping block all dirty before I even start rolling my dough on it. And so as you can see, this garlic's getting minced up pretty fine. We want it to be quite fine, because we want it to be pretty much just to mix in with the basil and the oil. And since we don't have a food processor, it's kind of a big deal to get this as minced as possible, because you don't want people getting little garlic bombs in their mouth, you know what I'm saying? Like missiles, like as Dane Cook put it back in whenever anyone listened to Dane Cook. He said like little dust missiles or something in chocolate milk. It's kind of the same concept. If you get a big chunk of garlic, it's just going to be really overpowering in the pesto. You're not really going to get that nice melded thing, but now we've got it good enough. So I'm going to start putting it into the bowl. And if you look inside the bowl, you see kind of a mixture of basil and garlic. Now the last step is oil. So we've got some nice olive oil here. As you can see, nice bottle of olive oil. And you start out slow, because I don't use exact measurements usually when I cook. So you start out slow, and you can always add more. It's much harder to add more garlic and basil than it is the oil. So start out slow with the oil if you're not using exact measurements, and then you can always add that more. So I'm going to be using a whisk inside this, and I'm just going to go basically to town on this. Mix it up as hard as I can. And for this isn't going to make a ton of pesto. I don't need a lot of pesto. So, like I said, this isn't going to be a ton. And so it starts to look like this. Needs a little more oil. We pour a little more oil in. And how's it going, Bonafide? It's good to see you coming in. Been mainly cooking for just Poseidon in here, so it's good to have another face. But yeah, so this is about where we want the pesto. If you can see it, it's kind of just like a gooey greenness, and it's not a lot. So actually, I'm gonna chop up a few more leaves of basil and just add those, because I do need a little more. I said we don't need a lot, but we need a little more than that if we want this to be good. So I'm gonna take four more of these leaves and chop them up. And I'm trying to be responsive to chat, but it's tough because, I've got a time schedule to hit, in that I need to get these yams and onions in the calzone while they're still warm. And if I don't do that, it's going to be an issue, because then they're going to be cold, and then it's not really going to cook while it's inside the calzone, which will just kind of make it separate, and the flavors won't meld together, if that makes sense. So, oh please, you know how to cook, Poseidon. You're always telling me about all the crepes you're making and the stuff you're making. You could probably teach me more than I could teach you. I make a good masala steak, but I generally don't actually. I don't need a lot of red meat, so steak isn't really something I cook very often. But I do make a mean masala steak. Right now, I'm making a pesto, roasted yam and onion calzones with homemade dough and everything. Did my header not change? It's supposed to say Cooking Mama right now. If it doesn't, I apologize. If you came expecting Heroes of the Storm, it's not really what this is. Obviously, it's not Heroes of the Storm, but you know. So we got our pesto good to go right now. I think this is enough to get us through. And right now we're gonna work on the dough. So, can you do that, Poseidon? Are you able to, with mod privileges, change the header, or do I have to do that? If I have to, I can do it in a little bit. Right now, I need to kind of get this dough rolling. And I just gotta find my dough or my flour. Okay. So now I'll show you the chopping block. This is where I'm gonna be rolling my dough. And so you want to just take like some flour and pour some flour on so it doesn't stick. And I'm not the best at baking type things. I'm not the best at rolling. So if this kind of goes to hell, I'm sorry. This isn't exactly my forte. So we got this big clump of dough here. And we're going to need to roll this down. So I got my rolling pin. And I'm going to be kind of rolling this out, trying to get it as flat as possible. And actually a technique that I learned is kind of like a cross. You want to roll this way and then this way. Because that's like going to make it as circular as possible. I need to get more flour on the top here so it doesn't stick. And yeah, I'm going to try to get this kind of cross type thing going. This is like every 13-year-old kid's AOL screen name, you know, like pizza dough X rolling or something like that. If you don't get that joke, I'm sorry. It was pretty dumb anyway. But, you know, when I hear X, I just think of like AOL screen names. And back in the day when I was, you know, a late middle schooler, early high schooler, where all my friends had their X's in theirs. It's like, you know, Frank X Johnson or some shit like that. But yeah, so this is getting pretty thin here. We want to keep rolling this. And if you missed it, I can explain. This was homemade dough, no yeast. It's just flour, oil, water, and baking soda. That's it. I can give you the measurements if anyone wants them. But for now, this is what this is going to look like. And now I'm going to actually take a pizza cutter and cut this into little segments. So now you can see this. I'm going to be cutting this into little segments to put the pesto and other things on. So I'm going to kind of try to make them, I'm going to start out like this. Alright, I'm going to cut it in half first. Oops. Gotta be careful on this. Don't want to screw it up. And then I'm going to cut it about here. I'm going to cut this into sixths. I'm going to make, or sixths. I'm going to make 6, and the middle ones are going to be the biggest for sure. So now we have this, and we're going to put our pesto right on top of it. We're going to take a little pesto, put it down, and rub it around. And after I'm done with this, I'm going to put it in the oven. We're going to have a lot of time for me to mess around with chat. We can all have a good time, joke around. I can maybe do some juggling for you. I could even dance if you want. I could maybe sing. Whatever you guys decide you want me to do, I will do that for you. Because I feel bad not really interacting with chat right now. Just because I got to kind of do this. And I can't actually see chat at the moment. There's been very few times where I can see chat during this. So, and I do feel bad about that. And this is, I thought I'd have more pesto. I'll make do, but this isn't actually ideal. You need a little more pesto than this, actually. And I guess I didn't realize how big this dough was going to be. I thought it would actually be a little bit smaller, so it's not quite what I imagined, but that's fine. We'll make do. That's kind of a big thing about cooking, at least as far as I'm concerned, is being adaptable. You know, things generally, unless you've made a meal like 10 or more times, it's generally not going to work out exactly as you had imagined it. So you kind of just need to make do with what happens. You know, you got to roll with the punches and make things happen as well as you can. And so I hope you can see these well enough. They kind of have this nice pesto layer down on it. And what you want to do is you just kind of want to get the oil mixed in well to top the pizza crust. And this is going to this is going to make basically the yams and the onions that go into it cook even better once they're in there, and let the flavors kind of meddle together, whatever you want to say. And so now I'm going to be spooning in helpings of this roasted yam and onion. And I hope you can see that well. This is roasted yam and onion, which I cooked for about 45 minutes in the oven, with some oregano, black pepper, actually a hint of dill, which you hear and you're probably thinking, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But I think dill in small quantities can be really good in things you wouldn't necessarily expect it to be good with. And that's too much on there. We need to make sure these roll well, because these kind of have to close on themselves. And I think I made a little too much, actually, of this roasted veggies, but that's fine. I can just eat roasted veggies. I can make some rice, put this in with the rice, maybe some fried rice or something. You know, leftovers are never a bad thing, even when you don't get them in the main dish. Alright, and I think these are pretty much where we want them to be. So here, I'm going to show you, you just kind of roll it closed. You kind of just pinch it off, like so. And you get a thing that looks like this, basically. And you can kind of seal the ends if you need. Otherwise, it's no big deal. You just kind of do that. And you do that with all of these. And some of them you can kind of roll shut too, like that. A lot of different ways you can do it. But there. You see? These are actually pretty simple. Like, people kind of think that something like this is a daunting task. But really, it's not that bad. It's just mainly a lot of preparation. And preparation can suck, but at the same time, it's not really that bad. And so, there you see we've got 3 calzones already kind of prepared. 3 more coming. And some of these are going to have kind of a lot of dough, which, you know, might not be ideal. It's whatever. It's really not a big deal. And actually, what goes really well with something like this is a nice, like, thick soup, like a nice, not like a stew, but like kind of like a medley soup. I don't exactly know how to explain what I'm talking about. My friend once made a spicy carrot ginger soup when I made these, and it was freaking awesome. It was actually the first time I ever made these. I had no idea how they're going to turn out, and they turned out really well. And he made that, and we had a dinner party. I was just like, what the hell? It was so amazing. But yeah, so that was good. That's kind of why I think it goes well together. And this one's kind of like dumb looking. I actually got too much flour on this one, so it's not really sealing together well. It's whatever. This one might suck, but 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 isn't a big deal. And these aren't like the most beautiful looking things in the world. They all kind of look like, you know, a little bit demented, maybe mutated even, kind of like the mutant calzones. But hey, we'll take it. It's not a big deal. And yeah, so I'm gonna get my pan out and put these on the pan, cook it for like 7 or 8 minutes. I'm sorry, Micro Man. I'm sorry. I meant to change it. On my screen it says Catchycactus in the kitchen cooking up a storm, which I guess is kind of similar to Heroes of the Storm. I didn't even make that connection. And it says plain cooking mode, so I guess it's bugged. I've been having that issue a lot, changing my header lately. But yeah, so now I'm gonna throw it on this pan. Just throw these calzones right on there, and actually got a little dust on it. I'm gonna wash this real quick. Then I'm gonna dry it off. Alright, now I'm just going to throw these right on here, and I actually should definitely oil this down a little bit so they don't stick. Sticking can suck when you're baking. And I have a little brush here. This is a little oil brush, so I'm going to brush down the pan. Or the... So as you can see, I just put a little olive oil on there. And I'm just kind of brushing it around so it doesn't stick. Not a big deal. Pretty easy stuff. And now, just going to throw these right on here. You don't want them to come together. This is just not ideal. And since we're only making 6, it's not a huge problem. We can pretty easily space them out. We've got the reject one over there. He should be fine. And they're going to kind of like spread out as they cook. It's kind of what dough does. So it's important to be mindful of that. But this is what it looks like. Obviously they're disproportionate. I didn't really try very hard to cook it. Yeah, cooking, storming the kitchen. That should definitely be Blizzard's next game. But yeah, so I'm putting this up in the oven. It's going to be about, I'm going to start it at 8 minutes and see what it looks like after that. I don't really know how long to cook this, honestly. I've never really known how long to cook this. I just kind of like put it in for a little bit, check it out, put it in, check it out, put it in. I'm sure you get the picture. Actually, I'm just going to put a timer on my phone because I don't trust this oven. This oven's weird. Well, thanks for stopping by, Lolshock. We really do appreciate, you know, I appreciate everybody's coming to check it out. My hair's a little weird because I've just got out of the shower. Not really dry yet. And let me put on a timer. And then I'm going to juggle or something because I got plenty of time to kill. Let's see here. I'll start it out at 6 minutes and just check it out. Alright, so let me kind of push this back and put it up so you can see me juggling. I'm going to start out with some juggling because what the hell else am I going to do right now? Alright, I'm going to juggle some avocados if you're ready. Are you guys ready for this? I'm not like an amazing juggler, but I can juggle. So, you know, I'm probably going to drop one eventually. I can go through the legs too if I really want to get saucy, but you wouldn't really be able to see that, so. Alright, and now I'm going to turn it around. Maybe you can see it then. Let me see. Okay, this is proving very difficult to do. Okay, now maybe if I stand really far back, you can see. I'm going to try to make this happen through the legs. Okay, I got to get in a rhythm now. I'm off my game. Alright, I'm going through the legs if you're ready for this. If you are ready for this. Through the legs it is. So there you have it. Juggling sensation. And I can also do this, like, I don't really know what this is, but I just kind of do it sometimes. It's like, I don't know, it's fun to do. But yeah, so we've got like 5 more minutes to kill, so I'm going to throw up a poll actually and see what you guys want me to do. I'm open to suggestions. What in the world do you want me to do right now? You can really choose anything. I'm open to suggestions. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. I don't impress much. I can do like 2 things. I can also do this. I can do it with both hands actually. So I can also make a really loud noise in my tongue. Do you want to hear that? It's probably gonna blow out your eardrums, so I'll stand back a little bit. And it looks like, I'll show you what it looks like. It's like, I hope it didn't blow out your eardrums. I can actually do it a lot louder than that. I just don't want to hurt you. So I don't know what else to do right now. Still need suggestions, guys. I need suggestions. I can like do some dance. I learned how to do this dance once. Let me see if I can still do it. It's like the It's like that. I can't really do it in here because like not a lot of room. Make it a series. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. What sounds painful? Making this a series? Just put on techno and dance. I can do that a little bit faster, but I don't really have a lot of room in here. It's actually a little bit of an issue. There's weird stuff all in my hands. I don't know what else to do right now. I've juggled, I've danced. I could I don't know. I need some suggestions, guys. I could sing the national anthem. If you guys want, I will sing the national anthem. That is something I will do. I can't, it's not like I can do it. I'm not good at it. I'm terrible at singing. I will do it for you guys. It's okay. I do the most random shit in the world all the time. And I sometimes hurt myself, but usually not. It is 2 o'clock. I'm not actually making dinner. That's what you're wondering. I don't know. I'm just making like a really late lunch. I felt like cooking. Sometimes I get in the mood. It says cooking mode on my screen. Let me see if I can fix it. Make it so you see that as well. Okay, I'm changing it right now. The problem was that there's this bug that keeps happening to me where I am logged in, but it doesn't think I am. So when I try to change my title, it doesn't change it. So I'll fix that now and make that work. Alright, there we go. I think it should be fixed. And I'm sorry for like flaring my nostrils into your face. I just realized that was happening. So I'm gonna quick check on the calzones to see how they're doing. We'll be back in a minute. So yeah, they're really doughy. They're really, really doughy. A lot more doughy than I've ever tried before. So they're gonna need a long time actually. So I have to entertain you for quite a while. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do, honestly. Let's see here. What can I do? Alright, I'm glad it's working now. You can see the cooking mama. I can do this. I can do this, which is like the most whatever thing you'll ever see in your life. I can I don't know. I can make my tongue fat. Like, that sounds really weird. I can, watch, what people don't understand is that my tongue is it's like this. It just gets fat. I don't know. It's just, I don't think a lot of people can do that. I'm sorry for just showing you my tongue. That's a really weird thing to do. Alright, thanks for tuning in, Microphone Man. I appreciate it. You're not going to see the finished product, but I will mail you a calzone. No, I'm not going to do that. Just kidding. But I'll check you later, man. Thanks again for tuning in. And LDAX, it's really awesome of you to come in as well. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have showed you my tongue. What a weird thing for me to do. I was just trying to fill time, I guess. I'll never do it again. Promise. Promise. Pinky swear. Pinky swear. Oh yeah, and here, this is what you can see. I got an Aperture Labs little wristband. I met a kid at a game night for my friend's work, and he really appreciated my band. And he was really young. He was 10. He's like, "Is that a Portal band?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool. I thought you'd be only know what Call of Duty is, and he didn't. And I would wear a Hello Kitty apron. I would definitely. But I kind of want to like put a catchy cactus on this thing, like draw some stupid thing on it. But I would definitely also wear a Hello Kitty apron. So what? What am I gonna do from here on? All right, I'm gonna sit down because I'm getting sick of standing. Standing is okay. Sorry, that was probably really loud. All right. What to do? That would be super awesome. Catchycactus apron would pretty much make my life. Trying to think of some cool things. I can show you a blowtorch, which it's almost out of butane, but you can just like look at it a little bit. We make creme brulee with it, although I don't really do it. It's mainly my roommate. He makes creme brulee sometimes. I cannot breathe fire. I'm sorry. I could like do this, be like, okay, now the Windows is blocking it. This isn't working. I look dumb. I'm sorry. I can't make it happen. I cannot make it happen. Let me think of something really cool right now. I'm actually gonna check on the calzones again in just a second, and then I'll be back. I'll be back. Believe me. Alright, the calzones need a flipping. I'm gonna flip them. You can't see that. I'm sorry. I can't like position my laptop to make you able to see that. So I'm just gonna do that and be back in just a few little bits. Whew. So I'm back, and I should be asking these questions as well. How are you guys doing? How's your day? My day's been good. I'm cooking dinner for all of us. We're all obviously going to be eating it. You're going to somehow find a way to get this in your mouth. That sounds really weird. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said that. Take it back. But yeah. So it's actually looking really good, guys. It's looking really good. I flipped them. Probably about 3 to 4 more minutes, and we'll be good to go in terms of the calzones, and then we can eat them, all of us. Smash it through the screen. That would break my laptop, and then I couldn't stream for you guys anymore. So that might be an issue, because I cannot afford a new laptop. Fortunately, that's just not in the cards. Like, you may be looking at this kitchen and being like, this guy can afford anything. This is not my kitchen. I'm just basically a charity case and living at a house with people that like me, hopefully. So yeah. Back on track of what we're gonna do right now. We only have a few more minutes. It's not like I have to find something really, really entertaining to show you. I wish I had something more exciting, actually. I could. What's something cool I can do? I can make my face look really, really disturbing. Sorry. I used to do that in chat roulette all the time. I'd hit chat roulette and they'd like get to me and I'd be like, I'd start it like this, like, And then I'd slowly like start out doing it. I'd be like, and then they'd be like, "What the hell? You look normal." And then I would also do a thing with my roommate who is Chinese, not like he's Chinese American. He's American. He's born in China, but like only for a year or something. I'm just looking at myself doing it. Looks amazing. So what I would actually do is we'd start the stream and I'd start speaking like not real, but like kind of Japanese. It'd be like, "Watashi wa do this." Hajimashita. And then we just like I'd just keep going. I was much better at speaking fake Japanese back then because I did take 3 years of Japanese. Now I'm like terrible at it. I'm like, "Genki desu ka? Mushiroi ya. Oh, so desu. Oh, I don't know." And then they'd just be like, "What?" And then Howard would be in the background. Oh, I gave his name away. He'd be in the background and he's Asian. Like they think he should be the one speaking when I'm speaking. And then he'd come up and be like, and I'd be like, talking to him for a while, not speaking any English. And then he'd walk up and be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, you speak English?" And he'd be like, "Yeah. Why? What's going on?" And they'd be like, "Oh, this guy just keeps speaking some weird language." And then he'd be like, "Oh, yeah, he's like my foreign exchange student. He's from Japan. He's living with me in America." And then minds would just be blown. They'd be like, "This white dude is from Japan and you're from America." And he'd also speak in like his whitest voice ever, which was pretty awesome. He'd just be like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Rosettes?" And so that was sweet. That was really fun. And then we messed with them. And then eventually I'd be like, for like 15 minutes, just being like, be like, "Oh, watashi no family wa PCH." And then, do that for like ever. And then they'd just be like, and then I'd be like, "No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just some white dude." And it was great. It was a good time. The wonders of chat roulette. So very soon we're going to take these calzones out and we're going to taste them. Teach me your language. All right, let's see. I'll tell you some dirty words in Japanese. Chinko means penis. That's the manko, I believe, means vagina. So if that's what you want to know. Chichi, I believe, is breasts. It's been a while. It's been like 4 years since I was learning, like stupid things to say in Japanese. I'm sure it's like most of you are like, "Baka!" Yeah, that's like idiot bastard type thing. You're like, "Baka yo!" That's like how you cuss them out. Yeah, that's generally what people think. I could be like, one of my favorite sayings, which is "Denmobango wa nan desu ka?" I'd be like, "Denmobango wa nan desu ka?" That's like, "What is your phone number?" So if I ever go to Japan, I can just pick up all these ladies' phone numbers just by busting that one out. Oh, how do you say "Takara kuji ni atattara"? That means like I won the lottery. That's a very important thing to be able to know how to say if you ever go to Japan. What else is some cool things to say? I used to remember things in the strangest way you could ever imagine. Like jitensha means bike, and I remembered that was because it would be like a dude asking another dude, be like, "G10 speed bike," and the guy was like, "Sha." So that was like G10 sha, G10 speed bike, sha. That's how dumb I am. That is how dumb I am. I had to remember it that way. I know, now you're really impressed. You like, this guy is awesome. So yeah, stuff like that. Cake on suru was wedding, and I just remember that because like cake, wedding, cake on suru. Ryokan was like old, historic, or like some like old hotel, like a traditional Japanese hotel. And I remember that because it was like Ryokan, like Ryu and Ken are fighting in a hotel. So some of these I'll never forget just because I have the dumbest ways of remembering them. And smart is the other people in my class who just remembered them because then they were able to like have a fluent conversation and they weren't like, someone would say something, they'd be like, "I was at the Ryokan," and then they just like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and they know what that means. Me, I'm like, Ryu and Ken fighting. Yep. Oh, you're at the hotel. Like, I have to respond to things like I'm the dumbest man alive. So, it's very strange how my brain works. My brain works in very mysterious ways. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the like borderline homeless guy who plays video games all day, even though he cooks, is not that appealing to ladies. Or that I just am always in my house. Yeah. But I don't know. I think these are about ready though. I'm gonna check out the oven. Alright, here is the finished product. I'm gonna scoot this back a little bit. This is the finished product. I'm gonna cut it open so you can kind of see inside of it. And it really does not want to cut for whatever reason. What's up with that? Holy... Okay, I'm just gonna rip it. There we go. So this is what it looks like on the inside. You can see that little pesto, the basil, and the kind of like vegetables mixed in there, the yam and the onion, and the kind of golden brown crust, which is exactly what you want. And so I'm gonna take a bite. I know watching me eat probably isn't the most exciting thing, but I'll let you know how it tastes, and then I'll kind of let you take a bite. I'll take a bite. Here goes, moment of truth. That's hot. But it is delicious. Quite good, actually. So, now it's your turn. You take a little bite. Don't worry, I'm not sick. No germs. So, take a little nom nom. There you go. And yeah, so now you know how to make this. I'm going to put up a YouTube video of this, and I will kind of like put up the ingredients and detailed instructions for things I kind of breezed over. And things like that. I'm sorry if I made you hungry. I do apologize. Hopefully, it'll be okay. Hopefully, you'll survive. I'm actually really hungry, so I'm gonna eat this. And then yeah, I'm thinking about streaming something else. I know you asked Poseidon. Sorry, I didn't get back to you the second you said that. I apologize.